Most guys think they know how attraction works. You like her so you text her more. You give her more attention, more compliments, more effort. You show up. You prove yourself. You make it obvious. That's what we're taught, right? Show her you care. Make her feel special. Be consistent. Be present. Be available. But here's what nobody tells you. That approach often backfires. And it backfires badly. The harder you try, the less she seems interested. The more available you become, the less she values your time. The more you chase, the faster she pulls away. And you're left confused, frustrated, wondering what went wrong. You did everything right. You were nice. You were attentive. You showed genuine interest. So why did she lose attraction? Why did things go cold? It has nothing to do with your face. Nothing to do with your bank account. Nothing to do with your job title or your car or your height. Those things matter far less than most men believe. What actually drives attraction runs much deeper. It operates on a level most people never think about. Psychology, human behavior, emotional triggers that have existed for thousands of years. See, there are certain behaviors that naturally pull people toward you. They make her think about you when you're not around. They make her wonder what you're doing. They make her excited to see you again. And these behaviors have nothing to do with tricks or games or manipulation. They work because they align with how human emotions actually function. Some men seem to understand this instinctively. They don't try hard. They don't chase. They don't flood her phone with messages. Yet somehow women can't stop thinking about them. They create desire without even seeming to try. Other men do the opposite. They give everything. They hold nothing back. They make their intentions crystal clear from day one. And despite all that effort, they get ignored, overlooked, friend-zoned, forgotten. The difference between these two types of men isn't luck. It isn't genetics. It isn't money or status or confidence. It comes down to understanding a few core principles about how attraction actually develops. Once you see these principles clearly, everything changes. You stop chasing. You stop over-investing. You stop trying to convince her to like you. Instead, you learn how to create the right conditions. Conditions where attraction grows on its own. Where curiosity builds naturally. Where she starts investing in you. That shift changes everything. Dating becomes easier. Interactions flow better. You stop feeling desperate and start feeling in control. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about understanding the game you're already playing. And right now, most men are playing it completely wrong. Think about someone who fascinated you. Someone you couldn't figure out. Someone who kept you guessing. You probably didn't know everything about them right away. They revealed themselves slowly, piece by piece, layer by layer. And that made you want to know more. That's how curiosity works. The unknown pulls us in. The unexplained keeps us hooked. When someone remains slightly out of reach mentally, our brain becomes obsessed with solving the puzzle. This explains why oversharing kills attraction so quickly. When you tell her your entire life story on the first date, nothing remains to discover. When you explain every thought and feeling immediately, the mystery vanishes. She already knows everything. There's nothing left to wonder about. Nothing left to explore. But when you hold certain things back, something powerful happens. Her mind starts filling in the blanks. She begins imagining who you really are. She replays conversations looking for clues. She thinks about you when you're not even there. Every unanswered question creates mental real estate. You start occupying space in her thoughts. And the more she thinks about you, the more emotionally invested she becomes. Now combine that with another force. Anticipation. This might be even more powerful than mystery itself. Remember waiting for something you really wanted. A trip you planned for months. A concert you bought tickets for. A gift you knew was coming. The waiting period created its own excitement. Sometimes more excitement than the actual event. Scientists have studied this phenomenon extensively. They found something surprising. The brain releases more dopamine during anticipation than during the reward. Let that sink in. Waiting for something often feels better than getting it. This applies directly to dating. When she knows she'll see you soon, her imagination takes over. She pictures the date. She wonders what will happen. She feels excitement building inside her. all before anything actually occurs. But constant contact destroys this completely. When you text all day every day, nothing remains to anticipate. When she always knows exactly what you're doing, the excitement flatlines. Predictability kills desire faster than almost anything else. Space creates longing. Silence creates wonder. Distance creates desire. This doesn't mean disappearing for weeks. It doesn't mean playing games or being cold. It means understanding that attraction needs room to breathe. Emotions need time to develop. Feelings need space to grow. Let the conversation pause naturally. Let a day pass without contact. Let her wonder about you sometimes. Give her mind the opportunity to miss you. When you finally do reconnect, everything feels more intense, more exciting, more meaningful, because anticipation amplified every emotion. The wait made the reunion sweeter. Here's where most modern men completely sabotage themselves. The phone in your pocket. That little device destroys more attraction than anything else. Not because technology is bad, but because most guys use it completely wrong. They wake up and send good morning texts. They check in during lunch. They share random thoughts throughout the afternoon. They send goodnight messages before bed. Day after day, week after week. An endless stream of digital conversation. And they think this builds connection. They believe constant communication shows interest. They assume staying in touch keeps attraction alive. But the opposite happens. Every unnecessary message chips away at her desire. Every predictable text makes you less interesting. Here's why this matters so much. Real human connection requires more than words on a screen. Scientists discovered that over 70% of communication happens non-verbally. Your voice, your eyes, your facial expressions, your body language, the way you pause before speaking, the way you lean in when interested, the energy you bring into a room. Text messages strip all of this away. You become just words, flat, one-dimensional, impossible to truly feel. The chemistry that exists in person simply cannot transfer through a screen. That spark, that tension, that magnetic pull between two people. None of it survives the digital translation. Think about conversations that felt electric face to face. Now imagine those same words typed out. They would feel completely different. Boring even. Because the magic wasn't in the words themselves. It lived in the delivery. The pauses. The eye contact. The subtle smile. The accidental touch. Yet men pour hours into crafting the perfect text. They analyze her response time. They stress over emoji choices. They invest massive energy into something that barely moves the needle. Meanwhile, the real opportunity slips away. Actual time together. Shared experiences. Moments that create genuine emotional bonds. The solution seems almost too simple. Stop treating texting like the main event. Use it for what it actually works for. Making plans. Confirming details. Light playful banter here and there. Nothing more. Save the real conversations for real life. Let her experience your actual presence. Your voice. Your energy. Your humor delivered with perfect timing. These things cannot be replaced by typed characters. When you text less frequently, something interesting happens. Each message starts carrying more weight. She notices when you reach out because it doesn't happen constantly. Your name appearing on her screen becomes an event, not just background noise she ignores. Less frequent contact creates more powerful contact. Every interaction means something. Nothing feels routine or expected. Pull back from the screen. Step into real life. That's where attraction actually lives and breathes. Words are cheap. Anyone can say beautiful things. Anyone can promise the world. Anyone can express feelings through carefully chosen sentences. But talk without action means absolutely nothing. Yet so many men rely entirely on verbal expression. They tell her how much they like her. They explain how special she makes them feel. They describe their emotions in endless detail. They think saying these things will make her feel the same way. It rarely works. In fact, it often backfires completely. The more you verbalize your feelings, the less she actually feels them. Declarations of interest spoken too soon lose all their power. Compliments repeated too often become meaningless noise. She's heard these words before. From other men. Maybe many other men. words that led nowhere, promises that evaporated, sweet sentences that turned out empty. So when you flood her with verbal affirmations, you blend into everyone else. You become just another guy saying predictable things. Nothing separates you from the rest. But actions tell a completely different story. When you make time to see her despite a busy schedule, she notices. When you remember small details she mentioned weeks ago, she feels valued. When you plan something thoughtful instead of asking what she wants to do, she recognizes the effort. These actions communicate more than 1,000 compliments ever could. They demonstrate that you're willing to invest real resources. Your time, your energy, your attention. These things cannot be faked. They cost you something real. Anyone can type nice words while sitting on their couch. Not everyone will rearrange their week to spend an evening with her. That difference matters enormously. She feels it even if she can't articulate why. Now here's another crucial element most men miss entirely. Your own life matters just as much as time spent together. Maybe even more. When you have goals you're pursuing passionately, something shifts. When your week contains meaningful activities beyond chasing her, attraction increases. When you maintain friendships and hobbies and ambitions, you become more desirable. Independence signals value. It shows that your happiness doesn't depend on her response. Your world keeps spinning regardless of what she decides. This creates healthy tension. She knows you want her around, but you don't need her around. That distinction changes everything about how she perceives you. Relationships work best when two complete people come together. Not when someone empty seeks another person to fill the void. She can sense desperation even when you try hiding it. She can feel when your entire emotional state depends on her reply. But when you genuinely have a life worth living, that energy radiates outward. She wants to be part of something good, not responsible for creating it from scratch. Dating feels like a job interview for most men. They show up nervous. They rehearse what they'll say. They carefully monitor every word leaving their mouth. They watch her face for reactions. They adjust, constantly trying to seem perfect. This pressure creates exactly the wrong energy. She feels it immediately. Something seems forced, calculated, unnatural. The conversation flows awkwardly because someone is performing instead of connecting. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything overnight. Stop trying to win her approval. Stop attempting to prove your worth. Stop treating every interaction like an audition where she holds all the power. Instead, focus on one simple goal. Enjoy yourself. Actually have fun. Let go of the outcome completely. This sounds almost too basic. But watch what happens when you truly embrace it. Your body language relaxes. Your humor flows naturally. Your authentic personality emerges without filters. You say things because they're true, not because you calculated they'll impress her. Researchers studied this phenomenon extensively. Psychologist Arthur Aaron designed experiments where strangers completed enjoyable activities together. Board games, creative challenges, silly tasks that made them laugh. The results surprised everyone. Participants reported feeling deeply connected afterward. Some even described feelings resembling love. Not because they tried impressing each other, but because they shared genuinely positive experiences. Positive emotions create powerful memory associations. When she laughs with you, that feeling attaches to your presence. When excitement happens around you, her brain links those sensations to you specifically. When joy fills the interaction, she wants more of whatever caused it. You become the source of good feelings. Not through compliments or gifts or grand gestures. Through shared moments of genuine enjoyment. So forget trying to appear successful. Forget highlighting your achievements subtly. Forget steering conversations toward topics that make you look impressive. Instead, suggest something fun. Take her somewhere unexpected. Create an experience neither of you will forget. Make her laugh until her stomach hurts. Embrace spontaneity when the moment allows. These memories outlast any clever thing you could say. They burn into her mind differently than ordinary interactions. Months later, she'll still remember how she felt. The specific words will fade. The feeling remains. Most men compete on the wrong battlefield entirely. They try outperforming other men through status displays, through demonstrations of resources, through verbal proof of their value. Meanwhile, the man having genuine fun captures her attention effortlessly. He isn't trying to be chosen. He's simply enjoying his life and inviting her along. That energy proves irresistible. Not because it follows some technique, because it represents something rare. Someone comfortable with themselves. Someone who doesn't need validation. Someone who brings lightness instead of pressure into her world. Understanding human psychology is the most valuable skill nobody teaches you. It affects dating, friendships, career, everything. This channel exists to give you that edge. Subscribe now because what you learn here will compound over time. Every video adds another layer. And eventually, you'll see people completely differently than you do today.